This week we're taking a look at how home prices are shaping up so far this spring market, so stay tuned. Welcome to another local market update with Rick Batista. Welcome to this week's market update. I hope wherever you're listening from, you're enjoying your spring so far. Now, there's so many things going on with the economy right now, and as well as in and around housing, which is why I'm committed to bringing you a weekly market update because monthly just doesn't cut it. Today's video discusses both national and local data. The local data we'll share in just a bit is for all of Chicago proper, the 77 areas, and although we do service all of Chicagoland and BURBS, later in this video, we're only going to dive into the city's data. Now, let's get started with a fun fact, and we'll share some other info and insights with you. Fun facts, market time. Homeownership remains a key driver to building wealth. According to a recent report from the National Association of Realtors, middle-class homeowners saw the median value of their homes appreciate $122,070 or 68% over the last decade. Meanwhile, lower-income homeowners saw a 75% gain in the median value of their homes with an increase of $98,910 in wealth solely from home appreciation, while upper-income homeowners saw an increase of $150,810 in wealth from their homes in the last 10 years. We're going to talk about this more in just a bit when we cover some other information and share some slides with you, but please keep this information in mind. We have certainly been living in an age of information, and although there's been a lot of misinformation, the collective data that we pulled together is homeownership is probably the best way for most individuals to gain some sort of wealth and generational wealth over time. Certainly homeownership isn't for everyone, and renting isn't for everyone, but the data does show that homeownership provides much more value, although some may say more headaches along the way, but definitely much more value than renting does. And again, no judgment, but the facts do remain the same. Now let's take a trip down memory lane. If you recall the headlines going back to fall of last year, many in the media were predicting a dismal 2023. Some trying to echo what happened in 2008, which is just silly. In my opinion, news today is more opinion than fact. Why? Because oftentimes facts just aren't as sexy. Mainstream media banks on people like you and me who live in our minds, and more importantly, to thrive on fear versus armoring ourselves with facts in order to truly thrive in life. So that's what I'm here to try and help us do. Armor ourselves with some facts. Let's take a look at some real data and what some economic and housing experts are saying. First, I'll share a quote from Selma Hepp, the chief economist at CoreLogic. Selma says, while housing markets across the country continue to send mixed signals, prices in many large metros appear to have turned the corner, with the U.S. recording a second month of consecutive monthly gains. At 1.6%, the month-over-month increase was twice the average seen between 2015 and 2020. And taking a look at this chart, this is from CoreLogic, we're looking at price momentum rebounding month-over-month change in home values percentage-wise and seasonally adjusted. Going back to January of last year, 2022, you'll see very soon after the rates increased, July through January of this year, home values are certainly adjusted downward, nationally speaking, and bounced back up in February, and now in March, later this month or next month, we'll take a look and see how April did. Selma went on to say that the monthly rebound in home prices underscores the lack of inventory in this housing cycle. In addition, while the lack of affordability generally weighs on home price growth, mobility resulting from remote working conditions appears to be a current driver of home prices in some areas of the country. And I don't know about you, but in many sectors, in industries working more remotely than going back into the office. And for that, I sympathize with the commercial realtors and property owners out there. So far, we're seeing that price momentum is picking up as we move through the spring. In fact, we'll not just look at CoreLogic, but we'll look at a couple others here and compare them side by side. Take a look at also FHFA and data from Case-Shiller. And again, going back to January of last year, although the numbers don't match exactly, the trends are certainly the same. July through December or January, showing month-over-month changes downward or very flat. They all show that starting at the beginning of this year, things were looking better and going up. Keep in mind, taking a look at the data, FHFA and Case-Shiller have data through February, while CoreLogic is showing data through March. And here's a quote from another housing market expert, Craig Lazard, the managing director at S&P DJI. Moderation we observed nationally is also apparent at a more granular level. Before seasonal adjustment, prices rose in 12 cities in February versus in only one in January. Seasonally adjusted data showed 9 cities with rising prices in February versus 5 in January. With or without seasonal adjustment, most cities' February results showed improvement relative to their January counterparts. So again, even though some sources are showing slightly different numbers, the end result is things have been going upward since the beginning of this year and certainly since February. And we wanted to revisit something that we had looked at a few weeks ago. Case-Shiller home price movement. This is February 2023, month-over-month percentage appreciation in top 20 metros seasonally adjusted. And if you recall, we were talking about how different regions have been impacted, and certainly the states where that were a little bit more tech heavy, they were seeing home prices go further in the red than some of the other cities and regions, and still pretty much the case here. Las Vegas and Seattle getting hit the hardest, seeing a little higher appreciation, including Cleveland. Again, if we're taking a look at these top 20 metros, a national average across the U.S. is at 0.2% in the green. So certainly not the plummeting prices that were being predicted last year. Doug Duncan, chief economist at Fannie Mae, says that the greater than expected resilience of the housing sector to the affordability pressures of higher home prices and mortgage rates is central to our expectation that the recession will be modest. So even though we are looking at a recession, folks, hopefully we'll be able to keep our heads above water and get through these times. And how times have changed. Look at the difference between projections for the remainder of the year from April to March, based on the data that we've seen and how the year's been playing out so far. This is from Fannie Mae. They had predicted at the remainder of the year, home prices were going to go down by 4.2%, while after looking at the data that has come out, they're only projecting a 1.2% decrease. And again, this is across the country, not necessarily what's happening in Chicago. So we'll certainly keep an eye on that and see what they're going to project in the coming months. Last quote here from Danielle Hale, chief economist at Realtor.com. Real estate has always been local, but as the buyers and sellers adjust to higher mortgage rates and lower affordability, regional trends have diverged sharply. This makes it more important than ever for buyers and sellers to tap into timely local estate data and conditions when evaluating housing-related decisions. And that's why we're here to help you gather information on a very local basis, because Chicago is a very, very, very hyper-local market, and sometimes changing from block to block. And if you're reviewing all this information and data, I think it's safe to say that the bottom line is buyers are still in the market and interested. Many are actively looking, and others are looking to find the balance between family finances, current prices, and mortgage rates. All that on top of already balancing everything else in life. Work, kids, pets, sports, family, friends, aging parents, a possible relocation, trying to go on vacation, the rising costs of everything everywhere, and more. I think it's safe to say that most of you are spinning a lot of plates every day. For that, I applaud you. Stay strong. And even though it may seem like many of us are struggling to figure it out, especially the grocery stores, geez Louise, or we're finding times to be a little bit more challenging, what does this really mean? It means this is truly wonderful news. We are having a shift in our mindset, our perspective. We the people, those of us who are reading beyond the headlines and searching through the facts, we're asking, how can I afford a home versus can I afford a home? And that is the mindset more and more renters, potential buyers, and households should have. And please don't get frustrated. Yes, I'm talking with you. Buying a home doesn't happen overnight. If you haven't started saving, it's not too late. If you haven't started repairing your credit, it's not too late. If you have no idea where you'll be 5 or 10 years from now, even 1 year or 6 months from now, or when your next lease is up, or when your current lease is up, start taking steps to prepare for home ownership. Please know that I'm not judging anyone at all whatsoever when I say this, because renting isn't for everyone and home ownership isn't for everyone. But here we go. Think of it this way. There are some jobs that we associate more with being a young adult. That time when you're building your foundation for the rest of your life, renting is kind of like those jobs. You're working a job while studying a trade or going to school and chasing a degree because you're going to make a bigger move sometime in the future. You have a plan. You have an ideal timeline, while knowing changes may have to be made along the way.
Here we go. Pivot.
Well, home buying and home ownership is what happens on the other side of all those long nights studying and penny pinching, eating ramen noodles, oatmeal, and bologna sandwiches. Put your nose down, but keep your head up and do the work. You have one life to live. When you leave loved ones behind, do you want to leave them a case of your favorite ramen? Or do you want to help create that generational wealth that with great care and appreciation can be cherished and molded into a beautiful legacy? Thanks to you, even well beyond your existence. And just as we should work on leaving Mother Earth in better shape than how we found her, let's do the same for those we leave behind as we pass on to our next journey in the universe. Now it's time to wake up for the moment you've all been waiting for. This information and data is provided by the Chicago Association of Realtors for week ending April 29th and current as of yesterday, May 8th. From fun facts, we go over to quick facts, looking at year-over-year changes. New listings in the detached market was down by 25.8% year-over-year, while the attached being condos and townhomes down by 32%. Under contract, detached down by 12.2%, attached down by 21.4%. And homes for sale, no change year-over-year in the detached market, while the attached detached was down by 32%. If we unpack that data a little bit more, we wrapped up the week of April 29th with new listings in the single-family detached market, 320, a 3-month average of 311, down by 18% year over year, and the attached 533 with a 3-month average of 506, down by nearly 36%. Under contract, we wrapped up the week of April 29th, detached market, 224 with a 3-month average of 201, down by 17.7% year over year, while the attached market, 411, 3-month average of 342, and down by 33.3% year over year. Inventory of homes for sale, we wrapped up in the single-family detached market with 2,094, bringing us the 3-month average of 2,250, up by 9.7% year over year, and the attached market, 3,046, 3-month average of 3,097, down by 27.8%. So, what does all this information mean for you? Heck if I know. All depends on what's going on in your life and your household. Let's start a conversation and see how we can help you make the most informed decisions. If you'd like a copy of any reports or slides we shared with you today, feel free to reach out. You can call, text, or email. My contact info is below. And remember, love and money may come and go, but time is something we never get back. So I thank and appreciate you for spending some of your time with me today. If you want to stay on top of the market with us, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll catch you next time.